ANC's January 8 statement is finally done and dusted. The ANC president speaking on issues of renewal, reconstruction, saying the attempts to derail South Africa will not succeed. Speaking about the burning of the National Assembly and the various issues facing the country. My colleagues Natasha Piri, our political editor Mzandi Lembeche, you've been here. Natasha, the speech from the provincial chairperson of the ANC and alliance partners, what did they say?
Well, we had this conversation earlier on, Samgele, and of course, the provincial chairperson of the ANC here, Mr. Stan Mathabata, publicly endorsing President Cyril Ramaphosa, saying that as the Limpopo province, they want President Cyril Ramaphosa to come back again as second term as president of the ANC. But let's just listen to that bite and we'll engage our political editor, Mzwadi Lembeche, after this.
ANC branches in Limpopo are saying that President Ramaphosa should have his mandate renewed so that the renewal project cannot be forfeited or can be fortified. It is important that we are understood properly.
Mzandile, what do you make about Stan Mathabata's utterances publicly endorsing President Cyril Ramaphosa and saying that as the province of Limpopo, they support President Cyril Ramaphosa coming back as ANC president?
Well, we know that this is year 2022, is the elective conference of the ANC at the end of the year. Already we can see where certain people are going. Stan Mathabata himself has ambitions to becoming the chairperson, and of course this province, I'm sure, wants to be the first one to pronounce on the second term for the president. And we've seen some of the events that we have covered. He went to Sekhukhune. There, they were public. They said they want the president for the second term. So clearly, this is a build-up toward that big day.
We also heard the president of COSATU, Salosi, saying that if the ANC or the tripartite alliance does not rebuild the ANC, then 2024 should be a problem. Let's just listen to what she had to say.
We welcome, President, the release of the first part of the Zondo Commission into state capture. We are also saying as a federation, asifuni ukuyibona this Zondo Commission report ifana nesereti commission on arms deal. Because almost 1 billion was spent on Zondo Commission. Just printing the report, they have spent 1.5 million, which is taxpayers' money. The recommendation must be implemented with no failure. President, we are saying, as I said, ours is not an easy task. So if we continue where we are, we stand two things. If we don't change, if we don't rebuild, 2024 is going to be a difficult year for us.
Well, Natasha, that was the General Secretary of, that was rather the President of COSATU, whom many people have been asking, what happened to the Workers' Federation? What happened to COSATU over the years? They are not as strong as they used to be. They were a part of the first organizations to speak out about the stint of incumbents in the era of former President Zuma. Zungisolo is going further to speak about the issues happening in Vembe, saying sharp stewards are being killed in that specific area and that specific municipality. What do you make of where COSATU is today under the leadership of Zungisolo? Because they always say if the party, the Communist Party, is weak, it translates to COSATU and escalates to the African National Congress.
Well, Samgale, like you say, I mean, some have been really criticizing COSATU, saying that COSATU is fine, and them saying that this degenerated from the days of Ustumo Dlamini. And this tripartite alliance, like you're alluding to, is not the strong one that we know of your OR Tambos, of your Chris Honeys as well. But let's just also listen to an important bite here by the General Secretary of the SACP, Mr. Blake Zimande, alluding that there is a connection between the July unrest, I beg your pardon, and the recent fires that we've been seeing in Parliament.
Much as Comrade President, we must give
your law enforcement agencies the chance to investigate fully the July counter-revolution last year, the torching of our parliament, but as the SACP, we smell a rat. We are very suspicious that there is a connection between the July 21 offensive and the torching of our parliament. But we will give the state-owned agencies to investigate. But kunesandla semfene la ikhona into egcitshwe phansi, ikhona into ekhona okufunakala ukuthi sisukumele sibheke. That is why when we stand here, we say to our glorious African National Congress, please lead an effort to unite all progressive forces in the country and to unite all Democrats in our country to defend the gains since 1994.
Well, that is General Secretary of the Communist Party linking the July unrest in the country which happened in KwaZulu-Natal, the president of the ANC in the January 8th statement of the ANC, speaking further about the violence which was racially motivated in the specific part of the country. Mr. Mbeche, just the essence of the ANC president linking the July unrest in KwaZulu-Natal to what is happening currently in the country, saying that the things that we are seeing will not succeed, and also echoed by the General Secretary of the South African Communist Party.
Basically, from the speech of the ANC president, you can see that they are worried about what has been happening. If you link a number of events, you can see that these are not just spontaneous, but somehow there is suspicion that they could somehow be planned somewhere. Yes, there is no hard evidence at the moment, but the fact that certain incidents, in fact, as recent as last night, he couldn't finish his speech. Yes, he was at the end, but the electricity went off. To this day, no one is able to explain. So we know the other events in Parliament, Constitutional Court, and of course the July unrest. Basically what he sought to say was that he is aware, he is putting in measures in place to make sure that everything gets back into order.
Well, Mr. Mbeche, when you also look, Natasha, on the issues of Parliament, Parliament was burnt, the Constitutional Court windows were broken, we had the issue of electricity going out yesterday. Is there a plan, an orchestrated plan, in the words of these leaders that you are seeing and how they've spoken, that is currently unfolding, and to the security of the ANC president?
Well, certainly, Samgela. I mean, this is also an issue that you and Mbeche also tackled yesterday. And listening to various ANC leaders that you've been talking to, it seems as if the security of the president or of the ANC is actually under attack here. Something else is at play. We heard the police minister, Benitele, also saying that somebody had actually tripped the electricity yesterday, and of course this issue is being investigated. But these are issues of concern, Samgele, especially leading up to the elective conference in December 2022.
Well, as the ANC prepares for December 2022 conference, they are faced with a number of incidents in government. Let's just hear the president of the ANC speaking about the burning of the National Assembly.
The entire country has been shocked, outraged and saddened by the destruction, because the institution of Parliament is a repository of our democracy and a symbol of democratic stability of our people. For 28 years, our Parliament has been a site of transformation. It's also been a site of empowering lawmaking, and also a site of redress, where we have worked together to overcome the legacy of our apartheid past. Although the buildings of Parliament have been extensively damaged, Parliament as an institution remains intact and will continue to express and give effect to the will of the people of South Africa.
While the institutions of government may be under threat, there may be sinister motives at play. Lady Nzimande spoke about state security being looked at as it may still be part of a so-called fight back campaign. Mr. Mbeche, Parliament went on fire. There are various issues plaguing the governing party. There is a state capture report. What do you make of the ANC president's comments on the state capture report, knowing very well that it was at the top of his January 8 statement of the NEC?
Well, it's actually very interesting when you look at the state capture report. Remember, Mr. Maseko, this is part one. There are still two parts that are coming. Yes, the ANC in its official line has basically said, let's come out and support this state capture report. But the fact of the matter is that there are still two more reports that are coming. So already some of the people who are fingered have threatened to go to court, and then they have rubbished the report. With these two reports coming out, yes, they are trying hard to try and build unity, but evidence suggests on the ground that you may find yourself having more divisions because it's some of their comrades who will be fingered and there will be a fight back.
You speak about the issue of unity. The Kwere Mantashe, the national chairperson of the ANC, says there must not be a factional approach to the implementation of the recommendations of the state capture report, and that it must not be seen to be used as to be purging ANC members. But let's just listen to the president of the ANC speaking about the importance of the State Capture Commission report, part one, that has been given to him and published to the residents of South Africa.
State capture targeted them because those who were perpetrating it knew that if they remove those people, it will be a lot easier to achieve their own ends. It also undermined our democratic state and threatened our program of social and economic transformation. As expected, the renewal that we have embarked on is being assailed at various levels by acts of institutional and social disruption. Let us, from the outset, make it clear that these desperate efforts that some are making will fail in the face of a united people resolved to protect South Africa's democratic gains. Baka seke ba re tlhola, baka seke ba tlhola batho ba South Africa.
Those desperate attempts will fail in the face of united South Africa. Those desperate attempts by some will fail in the face of a united ANC and South Africa. Those are the words of the ANC president. That statement is telling. What is it saying?
Well, Samgala, I think he's trying to say and to mention that, listen, it's time that ANC members actually clean the ANC. If you remember yesterday, we covered David Mabuza, and he had said that it's time that corrupt individuals within the party are rooted out. It's time that thugs, in his own words, are rooted out. It's time for renewal. It's time for rebuilding the ANC. But Samgala, we've been hearing this over and over and over again. Is this not rhetoric? When one says it's time to clean out the party, it's time to get rid of corrupt elements within the party, how do you then go about implementing such things?
Mr. Mbeje, the president basically saying these attempts will fail in the face of a united ANC and South Africa by desperate people. That statement is loaded and bold.
The question, will they be able to create that united stance that will make sure that all those attempts fail? That is the question. Is he able to bring his party together to push this agenda? Remember, they are the governing party. If he's able to put his family, his house in order, it should be easier to do that to South Africans. The first question is, are their attempts at uniting themselves succeeding? If they are, South Africa is likely to succeed. But if they are not, as perhaps evidence suggests the difficulty at the moment, maybe we still have a long road to travel.
You speak about unity. Unity was one of the key features of this January 8 statement, the year of renewal, reconstruction, and defending the gains of democracy. Pretty much sums up the state of the governing party and the state of governance in the country, with key critical institutions being burnt down, National Assembly, Constitutional Court, the windows being broken into, and also that lights out issue at the ANC Gala dinner. Is this party united or not? Let's hear the ANC president on their program of unity, reconstruction, and defending the gains of democracy.
let us cleanse the African National Congress and make the ANC the home of our people once again. Comrades, Kionantwe, which is making people to move away from us. Kabani, we tolerate indiscipline. For anybody, and then we allow it to go on. And people look at that. They look at that and say, what type of people are these? What type of an organization is this, where these types of things are tolerated? So I am saying, as far as we are concerned, as the NEC, and as far as I am concerned as well as President, Kere, this time round, comrades, acts of indiscipline, we must act on them. We have to act on them. We better excise that finger rather than in the end have that rotting finger completely poison the whole body. That is what the African National Congress needs to do.
Well, it's been a very hot Polokwane here, but of course we've done what we've come here to do. Of course, I'm Zwandile Mbeje, not going alone. I'm with my colleagues signing off from Polokwane.
Thank you so much, Mambet. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing you all the latest developments leading up to the January 8th statement. I am Natasha Piri.
Well, the political theater for 2022 has kicked off. The ANC president teed off at the gala dinner, teeing off the year of renewal, reconstruction, and defending the gains of democracy. He's been pronounced for a second term. Those whom are fighting against him are hard at work, saying, we see the desperate attempts by some. We will have to defend the gains of democracy. The political theater, the Game of Thrones, is underway in the ANC as we sign out from Polokwane. Samkele Masego.